It's quite a challenge for many actors. But it's great to have you, sir. You are welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
So that's the very first one. How many movies have you done in Nollywood?
Off the top of your head.
Just how many?
You might not know exactly how
No,
many.
you might not exactly.
Okay.
How many have you done?
I don't have idea.
You lost count.
How is it so? But in what region? 10, 30, 100, 200, like...
I should have been over 50.
Over 50.
Yes.
Amazing.
Let's talk about how the journey started for you.
Yeah.
You've been, you also model, you've been in ads and all of that. How did the journey as a creative and all of that in this industry start for you?
It started in the days of the old village headmasters.
Oh.
So I used to like and love that program so much. And so that was how I developed passion for acting.
Okay.
And since then, I've been into it. I write short skits, and I also coordinate young youth on also cultural activities.
Okay. Amazing. So now what would the journey, I mean, I would like to ask this question to people that have been in the industry for a long time. Considering the fact, or considering where the industry is right now, old Nollywood, new Hollywood, where would you say you're fitting the most? And how would you say you've helped, you've actually transitioned from old to the new?
Well, I would have said the old Nollywood is preferable because those days you will go out there to actually show your skill on the audition ground.
Yes.
So based on your skills, you're being given roles.
Your role.
But the new Nollywood, everything is on social media. Sometimes the casting is even done in the room.
True.
So most times, because of the latest developments, we don't actually go out there to show our skills before we're invited to be on site.
Okay.
So we just get our call on social media and then we are there.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, now let's talk about your individual projects. So far, you said you've done over 50 movies. Which ones stand out for you? Which were the most challenging? Which were the projects that you really enjoyed working on?
Well, there's no project we don't love. Once you love what you're doing, there's no one that you will not love. But I will say that it actually started in the days of The Patriots. That was the first movie soap that actually brought me out, where I played the role of a chemist. And I was involved in selling, in dealing with expired drugs and all those things. So that was the first movie that actually brought me out, where so many of my friends saw me on air.
On air.
But which one has been the most challenging? The most challenging role that you've ever done?
The most challenging one I ever did was What's on Your Mind, where I played a sub-lead. In that production, I was HIV positive.
Okay.
So I played sub-lead, and in the process of that production, I gave up ghost. So that was one of the most challenging ones.
Tell us about that story. How did it happen? Tell us the story.
Well, I was a happening guy. So I had the money, I had everything. All I just need was to catch my phone. And so there was nowhere I did not touch. I even got to the point where I had to do man-to-man on that same production.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it cut across every sector until eventually I was confirmed to be HIV positive.
Okay.
And in the process of managing me, and eventually I gave up ghost in that production.
So what emotional toll would you say that character had on you? And was it difficult for you to break out of it when the project was over?
It wasn't. It wasn't. Like our life is, we know, as an actor, once on a set, you don't have a life. You live the life you have on set.
Yes.
So once the production is off, of course, people will remind you. But once the production is over and you're offset, automatically you live that life again. So if it is part of you, sometimes it doesn't actually hold you down.
Okay.
Once you're done with the production, just walk away. But you will always remember the areas where you're being, where it is very touchy.
Okay.
There are some pictures here that we just saw now where you are dressed as a babalawo. You played the role. There are more than one. Would you say that is a role that, because, see, we've seen a lot of actors at times are typecast,
Yes.
in some particular roles. Is that the role that you say, which role have you done the most in this Nollywood?
The role I've done the most has been the role of an elder.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Elder,
We'll see
yes,
one now.
yes.
We'll see one now. And elder. Second, I'm sure Babalawo comes close to it because I saw more than two pictures.
The issue of Babalawo, people just look at me and they believe I have the...
Yeah, because look, you know, I can see this one older, but yeah, but like you know, like an elder. Those days of the old Nollywood, where the elder is going to report to the Yale or going to the Igwe or going to report to the Igwe, all of that, and you know, but you know, you've spoken about how you remember how everybody comes to the audition venue and you know you show what you have. You know, it's different these days. You know, especially you know a lot of this happened after COVID.
After COVID,
You know, where people had to stay at home, and then a lot of casting directors felt, oh, why don't we just continue with this? If you ever do, have you ever produced anything, any project, or do you have plans to produce any project?
Well, I belong to a group, and we are planning to do things like that. That is Nollywood Elders Forum. We have script, and we are working on
it.
producing
Would you,
them.
as a person now with what you love, would you want to go back to the days of getting people to audition, or would you toe the line of the generation as it is now, where people send you clips or something online on social media? If you were to oversee a production, how would you go about it?
I would love physical casting because that is where you see the real talent. And in the industry today, a lot of people just come into the industry and they have no business with the industry. So because of the media casting, everybody comes in. But when you talk about the physical casting, you see the real people coming on board. If you're not in the industry, you will not go for any audition. And that is where the physical casting is very important. So I would love to do that because I want to see the cast I want to use. Rather than pictures, because these pictures tell a lot of lies.
They've always told lies. Not only these days, even before these days.
You see a picture that the person looks almost like an outcast. By this time you see the person real life, he's as black as charcoal. So based on that, it sometimes gives some directors problem. That is why sometimes after they've done the table casting and the picture casting, they still want to see those casts before they do their final shoot.
Lighting, I still remember where I was in this particular project. And it was a studio picture. It's not like I was so different. But like you said, the studio, they put light and everything. I was not shining the picture. So I remember coming and getting into the room.
I was wondering.
So did
Where
that?
am I? You first, where are you?
I'm serious. I can never forget because that was my most embarrassing audition ever.
Wow.
But you're like,
Is this you?
what's happening? That studio.
Studio lighting.
And all of that. You know?
Okay. So I would like to ask this question. I mean, when you stepped in, I said, oh, you looked amazing, the traditional attire and all of that's very regal and all that. And earlier in the studio, we've been having a conversation with my colleagues. And so it was on the issue of culture and the Nollywood industry. So a lot of times we see, especially now, right, a lot of producers are stepping back to bring our original stories and telling it in a new way. Now, in your opinion, how would you say, or rather, to what extent would you say the culture should be dictated in movies? Would you say it is necessary for it to go word by word? Or do you think, fine, because it's a creative space, we all have, or rather, directors, producers alike, have the free will to tweak things here and there?
The truth of the matter is that your culture remains your culture.
Yeah.
And if you have to present it, it is better you present it the way it is being practiced.
Yeah.
Because the custodians are actually watching those movies. So once you go out of what is expected to be, they are the first people that will criticize you. And that will automatically kill that production. Because once you don't practice it, once you don't present it the way it is being done or practiced in the real life, people will believe that you just put something on screen. And so making it, practicing it the way it should be done is the best way because you're actually selling our culture. And if you don't sell, and without your culture, you don't have an origin. And I want to believe that our culture is a very beautiful one. And if you actually portray it the way it should, like Oni of Ife said, he said our culture protects life. Though some people present it otherwise, he said our culture does not kill. We celebrate God. We celebrate our creation. So if we present it and actually do it the way it should. Our culture is expected to protect us and give us a lot of dignity, which is what it is all about before the civilization came in.
All right, thank you so much.
Amazing.
It
Well
was a pleasure
said.
talking to you.
Definitely.
And here's wishing you the best in your future projects and all the things that you want to do
Thank
moving
you very
forward.
much, sir.